Hey nerds, what's up? Today's video is going to be a very large haul. I have some books that I've bought for myself and one gift, I think maybe a couple gifts in here from birthdays and things like that. I don't know about this order in particular because it's been a while, but then I also have 53 books from Chelsea's shelves because I went and visited Chelsea last weekend and then inevitably she handed me a bunch of books. We're gonna go through it. The Chelsea books will be at the end, so let's go through this pile first. I don't know how many are in this section. So first off, I have a gift from Sage. They sent me over Red, White, and Royal Blue by Casey McQuiston, and we did end up buddy reading this for part of the Out of My Comfort Zone vlog, so that'll be linked up above. Red, White, and Royal Blue is one of my favorite books. I cannot wait for Casey McQuiston's new book. It came out on June 1st, One Last Stop. I'm so excited to read it. This is a male-male romance between the imaginary first son of the United States and the imaginary one of the princes of England. It's very cute and I like it. Then I went to Barnes & Noble and I bought Transcendent Kingdom by Yassi, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm so sorry if I get any names wrong. Doing my best. This author also wrote Homegoing, and that will come up later in this haul during the Chelsea books. But this book has been on my mind for quite some time. One is just the cover. I think this cover is beautiful. It catches my eye every single time I've gone to Barnes & Noble since it's come out. This book is about loss. Gifty is a 6th-year PhD candidate in neuroscience at Stanford University of Medicine, studying reward-seeking behavior in mice. Her brother Nana was a gifted high school athlete who died of a heroin overdose after an ankle injury left him hooked on OxyContin. Her suicidal mother is living in her bed. Gifty is determined to discover the scientific basis for the suffering she sees all around her. It just sounds like the book that I would like. And it's beautiful. Okay. I also bought on that trip The Starless Sea by Erin Morgenstern. This is Erin Morgenstern's second book. I've heard really great things. I've heard not so great things. And I really liked this cover. So Erin Morgenstern wrote The Night Circus, and that's one of my favorite books of all time. So I'm very nervous about this one because I've heard that people who like The Night Circus don't tend to like this one, but I still want to give it a try. It sounds good. This book is supposed to be about a boy who goes into this huge library and accidentally happens upon a book that's about his own life. What? I want to read it. And on another Barnes & Noble trip before that, honestly, I also picked up Lost in the Neverwoods by Aidan Thomas. Aidan Thomas wrote The Cemetery Boys, and I absolutely loved that one. I don't own it, although it might actually, there is an arc coming up in the Chelsea books. Look at this cover, and it's Peter Pan, and I wanted to read it. And then I also picked up A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J. Maas. This is the most recent book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. This one is the starting of the new section where we follow Nesta instead of Feyre. I haven't read it yet, but I've heard really great things. I'm very excited to get to it. Then I have a few gifts in here. So I have Girl, Woman, Other by Bernadine Evaristo, and this was a gift from Kelsey. She's one of my friends, and she gifted me this for my birthday. So Bernadine Evaristo is the winner of the 2019 Booker Prize, and the first Black woman to ever receive this award. This is a portrayal of the intersections of identity and a moving and hopeful story of a group of Black British women. Girl, Woman, Other is populated with unforgettable characters, from a lesbian playwright to a jaded school teacher to a non-binary social media influencer. Sparklingly witty, centering voices we often see othered, and written in an innovative, fast-moving form, this is a polyphonic social novel by a masterful writer who has finally been lauded at the level she has long deserved. And polyphonic social novel, I assume it means that there's multiple stories told by different voices. It's obviously all written by one author, so it's not an anthology, but it's going to act kind of similar to an anthology, I think is what that is probably alluding to. Yummy by The Last Days of a South Side Shorty. This actually is a borrowed graphic novel from Kelsey as well. She and I always borrow each other's books, and so when I was over and seeing her for my birthday stuff, she handed this one to me to try out. This is about a true crime that occurred about this boy who went by Yummy. I don't know if that was really his nickname, but it is that's who we're talking about in the novel. So 11-year-old Roger is trying to make sense of Yummy Sandiver's death, but first he has to make sense of Yummy's life, and so it's about Yummy's life before he was killed. She also gifted me for my birthday The Girl with the Louding Voice by Abby Dare. And this one I've heard really amazing things of, and the cover, wow, it's just gorgeous. So this book is about a girl named Aduni, who knows what she wants, an education. The only daughter of a broke father, she's a valuable commodity. She was removed from school and sold as a third wife to an old man. And so she finds that her life amounts to 4 goats, 2 bags of rice, some chickens, and a new TV. And then there's an unspeakable tragedy in her new home. She's sold as a domestic servant to a household in the wealthy enclaves of Lagos, where no one will talk about the strange disappearance of her predecessor, Rebecca. Wow. So this one sounds also really deep, really dark, really fucked up. I've been really into true crime lately. Man, if you don't know about Bailey Sarani on YouTube, she does this murder, mystery, and makeup series on her channel where she just does her makeup while she talks about a true crime, and wow, I have gone down the rabbit hole. That's all I've been doing. I have not been reading. I've been doing that. So not to say that this is the same thing, but just those really dark, fucked up stories, I'm into it right now. I also was gifted 3 other books for my birthday. This is also from Chelsea, so that transitions us nicely into the gifts from her own shelves, but these were gifted as gifts to me. So she bought me Girls on the Verge by Sharon Biggs Waller. This is a book about a girl who needs to go across state lines in order to get an abortion when she is a teenager, and it's about her bringing her best friend who doesn't agree with her choice to abort the baby, but coming with her anyway, and then somebody who she confided in she wasn't really close with, but who has been really supportive since finding out about it. And the 3 of them go on this. It's a road trip book at the core of it, but then it's also about abortion rights and all that stuff. I believe that they're coming from Texas, or they might not even list the name of the state that they're trying to leave. I'm not sure 100%, but that's what this book is about. It's very good. I read it last year or maybe the year before that. Whenever it came out, really, really liked it. And then she also gifted me A Heart and a Body in the World by Deb Coletti. This is about a girl who has had an experience before the story starts in regards to being sexually assaulted, and it's kind of about her taking her healing process and figuring out how to move forward. And she's a long distance runner, and so she decides to run across the state from Oregon or Washington, I forget which, all the way across to the East Coast. And her grandpa follows her in a little trailer, and I really, really loved the dynamic between grandpa and granddaughter and everything, and this one was really good. Also have Heroine by Mindy McGinnis. This book has been on my list for a very long time. I have not read it yet. I've also heard this story is real fucked up and really dark. It's about addiction, about heroin. I don't know a whole lot else about it, but Mindy McGinnis is one of my favorite authors, so I know I'm gonna like it when I get to it. Maybe I need to pick up some of these books because I haven't been reading, like I said, but I've been into true crime and stuff, so I need a transition. These are in no particular order. We just were working through Chelsea's shelves, and I was helping her reorganize and everything, and as books came up that she didn't want and I was looking at to see if I wanted, that's how they ended up in these bags. So there's no particular order is what I'm getting at. But starting off, I have 2 arcs. And the first one is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. I read this when it came out, and oh baby, it was so good. This book is about a non-binary teen who comes out to their parents and then they're kicked out. So they go and live with their sister, and then there's a romance involved with the new person who's around, and it was so good and so heartwarming, and I really liked it. I follow Mason Deaver on Twitter as well, and they are fucking amazing, and I just like them. I just think they're all so cute and adorable. So, that's a book. And then, like I mentioned, Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, who wrote Into the Neverwoods. This book follows a trans boy named Yadriel, who accidentally summons a ghost of a boy named Julian. And there's like a romance involved, but also they're trying to figure out how to fix that. And then Yadriel is also trying to perform this ritual that the boys of his family, the men in his family, get to perform, and women are not allowed to perform it. And there's like a trans discussion within the family of like if he's really a brujo or if he's really a bruja. And yeah, it's fucking great. I really like it. Please read it if you haven't yet, and if you like all of that. Okay, so next up I have Daughter of the Burning City by Amanda Foody. I know nothing about this other than I really like the cover, and I really like Amanda Foody's series Ace of Shades, which is about this like magic system, and it has gambling, and it's very like Vegas vibes. I fucking love that series. I don't know anything about this, and I'm not going to go into details if I don't. I'm not going to read all of the covers like I did for these books, just because this would be a really long video if I did that, but Daughter of the Burning City. Okay, then I have You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson. This was a very popular book on BookTube for a long while, and so I want to pick it up. It's on my TBR. Do I know anything about it? Absolutely not. Then I have Elatsoe by Darcy Little Badger, and I've heard amazing things about this. I know that Kayla from Books and Lala really likes this book. I'm very excited to pick this one up, and just wow, the cover is fucking gorgeous. It's also a heavy book. Like is a heavy book. I don't know, but I feel like it's going to be heavy on the inside and out. Then I have The Weight of Feathers by Anna Marie McLemore, and I picked this up because of Anna Marie McLemore. I don't really know anything about the book. I have no idea, but I like her writing. And I have The Wife Upstairs by Rachel Hawkins. Rachel Hawkins has written quite a few books that I actually haven't loved, but this book, Chelsea was saying, was good and has like good reviews and stuff. And she just didn't want it on her shelves anymore, but that I should try it. I think it's a thriller. I also have The Assassin's Apprentice by Robin Hobb. If you don't know anything about like Becca and Gavin and Ashley and everyone who's reading all the Robin Hobb books right now, that's why I picked this up. Even though I'm way behind. I haven't read any of them, but I know that this is one of the books that they are loving, and I've heard really great things about Robin Hobb's writing, so gonna give her a try. Then I have A Quiet Kind of Thunder by Sarah Barnard. Beautiful book. It's got that gold like foiling on it. This book is about a deaf main character, Reese, and then a girl who is I think chosen not to speak, and they understand each other perfectly. I am really curious about this one because of the deaf rep. Okay, I have another arc in here, The Falling in Love Montage by Ciara Smith, and Chelsea said this one was cute and that I should read it. It's a sapphic romance. And then I have The Galaxy and the Ground Within by Becky Chambers. This is book number something in the The Long Way to a Small Angry Planet? I don't know what the fuck the book's called, but I have the whole series, haven't read it yet. So Chelsea was just like, oh, you need this. And she really likes this series. She just is getting the other covers. Okay, then I also have Arusha and the End of Time by Roshni Chokshi. Gavin really likes this book, and Gavin is a huge middle grade reader. Middle grade is not usually my thing, but since Chelsea was giving this one away anyway, I was like, maybe I should try this one. So, I also have, oh no, I messed up the cover. How sad. I have the Karen Slaughter, The Good Daughter. I read Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter last year, and holy fuck. That book's real fucked up. And so I've heard that Karen Slaughter is real fucked up. Maybe I should read this book next. Get me in the reading mood with all those fucked up stories. That's what I'm into right now. I don't know what's happening, but I've heard this is a great thriller. One of the true crime stories that I've been I went down like an even deeper rabbit hole after watching Bailey Sarian go over it. It was about Gertrude Brzezinski. I don't know how to say her last name. I don't remember it. That lady, she abused a child and then murdered her, and it was in the 40s. It was the most fucked up story I have ever... I have no words for how terrible of a real life story that story is. So I watched the true crime version that Bailey Sarian went over, and then she also recommended a movie version that came out, which has Elliot Page and like every fucking actor that you've ever heard of in it. It has Evan Peters in it. It has, I don't even know all of their names, but it has that one girl from For a Good Time Call. That's really pretty. I really like her. I don't know her name. Yeah, it has a bunch of actors in it. I have Fury Born by Claire Legrand. This is a fantasy novel that I've had on my TBR for a really long time. I know Katrina from Little Book Owl has really liked this, like back when it was coming out. I have no idea what it's about other than the fact that it's a fantasy. To be clear, we're almost done with this bag. We still have 3 other bags. All Boys Aren't Blue by George M. Johnson. I believe this also has some trans rep in it. This is a young adult memoir by prominent writer and LGBTQIA+ activist George M. Johnson. He shares both glorious and gut-wrenching memories of growing up Black and queer in America. Oof! Sounds heavy. The cover is beautiful. The other book of this series, but I don't know where it is, My Lady Jane. I don't know anything about this series, but Chelsea said it was good enough to take, and then she handed me the sequel too. I don't know. I also got the 5th season by N.K. Jemisin. I just read this recently. It's a like apocalyptic sci-fi about a world that's like falling apart basically. Really good. The first book, the like understanding of who we're following was really, really fascinating. Then I have The Road Trip by Beth O'Leary. It's one of Chelsea's favorites, and she just had an extra copy, so she handed it to me. It's a romance. And I have Far From You by Tess Sharp. Tess Sharp wrote The Girls I've Been. One of my favorite books of this year so far that I've read, and so I just picked it up because it was Tess Sharp. Okay, moving on to the next bag. We already discussed Yaa Gyasi's other book, Transcendent Kingdom. Here's Homegoing. This is their first novel, I believe. It's about 2 half-sisters in Ghana, 18th century. And it's a generational novel, I think. So that's all I really need to know. The Reckless Oath We Made by Bren Greenwood. A provocative love story between a tough Kansas woman on a crooked path to redemption and her unlikeliest of companions. Don't remember asking for this or why I said I wanted this, but I wanted it, so it's in here. And then I have Once Upon a Burning Throne by Ashton K. Banker. This is book 1 in a fantasy series. I have no idea what it's about, but the cover, every time I've gone to Chelsea's house, I'm like, what book is that? Because it looks gorgeous. Okay, then I also picked up The Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Eames. This is a fantasy story. Don't know a whole lot about it, but Chelsea did say it was good, and I also feel like this might be a book that Matt would read, so that was partially why I brought it home. But Chelsea also likes it, so like, she doesn't like a lot of fantasy. I feel like that says something. I also picked up Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. This is one of those books where Mary H.K. Choi's first book, Emergency Contact, I didn't really like it, but Chelsea was saying this one is better, so I'm going to give it a try. Queenie by Candace Carty-Williams, one of my most anticipated books of the year. When did it come out? Was it this year or last year? I think it came out last year? 2019. And I still haven't read it yet. This book is about, it's a love story and stuff. I don't know a whole lot about it, but I love the cover also. The Nature of Witches by Rachel Griffin, which is one of my most anticipated novels of this year. If you've watched my anticipated reads, then you'll know that this was on it. This came out this year. I believe it came out in May. It's new. I want to read it so bad. It's a witch book, obviously. I also have Britt Marie Was Here by Frederick Bachman. Don't need to know anything else about it. That's what made me pick it up. The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X.R. Pan. One of my anticipated reads of last year. I think it was last year as well. This book came out in, 2018. So not last year. Wow, I feel like all of the years blur together in the most recent ones, but I've heard really great things about this, and I want to read it. Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee. We know what this book is, right? It's a classic of To Kill a Mockingbird. Yeah, it's like the sequel to that. I've wanted to read it for a while, but it's also like a pretty expensive book, so I don't want to read it that bad. Oh my gosh, and then I also was kindly gifted by Chelsea City of Brass and Kingdom of Copper by S.A. Chakraborty, one of my favorite series that I found this year. I still need to read the third one. I actually have it out from the library but haven't picked it up yet. Maybe I'll read that. I don't know. I don't know what's happening with my reading taste, but I'm so excited to own these. Okay, on to number 3. Bag number 3. We have Docile by K.M. Zapara. I've heard really fucking weird things about this. So Chelsea said she absolutely hated this book, and then I was reading the back of it, and I'm like, I'm either also going to hate it, or I'm going to think it's really fucking cool, and I don't know what's going to happen. This is a science fiction parable about love and sex, wealth and debt, abuse and power, a challenging tour de force that at turns seduces and startles. To be docile is to be kept, body and soul, for the uses of the owner of your contract. To be a docile is to protect, disappear, hide inside your body from the horrors of your service. To be a docile is to sell yourself to pay your parents' debts and buy your children's future. So it's basically like agreed upon slavery, and I would venture to guess that there's going to be some sexual slavery in here, because it's the little like subtitle says there is no consent under capitalism. It sounds fascinating to me, but it also sounds really dark. And now wow, I can't wait to move. Also have The 100,000 Kingdoms by N.K. Jemisin. This is a different series, book 1 of the Inheritance trilogy from the Barbarian North. I don't know, but N.K. Jemisin, come on. Okay, I have all 3 of them, but she gifted me these beautiful covers of the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, one of my favorite trilogies of all time. And these are the beautiful paperbacks, and I'm just so excited. The third one's in here somewhere. I just don't know where it is. Oh, it's right here. Yay. The Girls Who Fell by S.M. Parker. This is... a sports YA? I don't know. But I like the cover. I don't know. Maybe Chelsea told me something about it that made me go, I don't know. The Sawkill Girls by Claire Legrand. Another thriller that I've heard really great things. I think this book was pretty popular going around BookTube like last year, maybe? I don't know. But these 3 girls in Sawkill Rock. There's a legend of an insidious monster at parties and around campfires. Okay, then I also have Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. Again, Frederick Bachman. I buy it. Oh, Pretty Girls by Karen Slaughter. Yes, loved it. Terrible book. Like, awful, awful story. Very, very creepy, and I really liked it. Real fucked up, though. Definitely don't read that if you're not into, like, books about rape, sexual assault, torture. I think there's animal abuse in there, maybe, if I remember correctly. Lots of shit. And some revenge. Okay. I also have Something Like Gravity by Amber Smith. I like Amber Smith's writing, and this book is really pretty. I don't know anything about it. And on the come up, honestly, do I own this book? I feel like I already own this, but I'm not 100% sure. So if I do, then I'll be giving this one away. I'm not going to keep 2 copies. But on the come up is the second book of Angie Thomas's after The Hate U Give. Normal People by Sally Rooney. This book became a TV show on Hulu. Everybody has raved about it. I believe this book was one of the Reese Witherspoon's books of the month, I think. And then this also is technically an arc. But I've heard great things, and I really like this cover. Okay, last bag. First of all, I really like this bag. It's so pretty. Okay, what's in this one? Let's find out. I have Something Real by Heather Demetrios. Again, don't know much about this book, but I really like Heather Demetrios' writing. She wrote Bad Romance, one of my favorite books about an abusive relationship I've ever read. So, wanted to take this one home and see if I like her other stuff. And then I also have a couple kids' books in here. I have Aquacorn Cove, which is about a aquatic unicorn. And I have Princess Ever After, which I believe is a sapphic romance, like for a kid's book. Look at that little art. It's the two of them. So cute. I have The Alchemist. So, heard this book is really pretentious. Also heard that this is like the book that everyone should read before they die. So I guess we'll see. This is the sequel to whatever that one was. My Lady Jane. So My Lady Jane, My Plain Jane, I don't know which one came first, but they're a series about Jane Eyre, I think. Jane Eyre and I don't know. I also have Lifelike by Jay Kristoff. I loved this book when I read it for an arc when it came out. Lifelike was so good. And then I still haven't read Deviate yet, but I'm very excited to have this on my shelf. Fucking love this cover. This book is a also like apocalyptic post like end of the world sci-fi novel where these like AI things like came into being, took over the world, and then like destroyed the world, and now they're not allowed anymore. And it's about this girl who's like she's kind of like a cyborg, like part machine, finds one. I also have I Stopped Somewhere by T.E. Carter, another one of my favorite books. This one's really rough. It's about a girl. Let's see. What does this say? Ellie Frias disappeared long before she vanished. Tormented throughout middle school, she begins her freshman year with a new look. She doesn't need to be popular, she just needs to blend in. But when the unthinkable happens, Ellie finds herself trapped after a brutal assault. She wasn't the first victim, and now she watches it happen again and again. She tries to hold on to her happier memories in order to get past the cold days waiting for someone to find her. Ooh, this book was a rough one. It is a rough one. It is rough, but it is so good. Okay. I also have The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. It's so pretty. Everyone raves about this on BookTube. I don't even really know what it's about, other than I'm pretty sure, is this the one? No. Okay, I don't know what book I'm thinking of, but I want to read it. Is Far From the Tree by Robin Benway. This book has been recommended by Murphy over at Murphy Napier, and it's a book about adopting. I don't really know much other than that, but yeah. I only actually had one more book to discuss, which we already talked about, City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty, and I mentioned that Kingdom of Copper was in here. So that's it. I was so close. My battery died, and then I had to go back to work like within 2 minutes of each other. Those two things happened, so anyways, that's the end of this very large haul. I really recommend that Bailey Sarian, that Bailey Sarian YouTube channel. I've been obsessing over her, and she also has a podcast called Dark History now, which I haven't listened to yet, but it sounds good. I am trying to get onto my normal schedule, but this month is also very busy with plans and stuff, which is why I talked about in one of my last videos that like I'm trying to get back on schedule, but I'm not going to beat myself up if I don't. So anyways, that's enough rambling for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. It was a lot of books. If there's anything that you like highly recommend for me to pick up sooner rather than later out of all of these books, please let me know in the comments down below, and I will see you very soon. I hope that you'll like this video. If you enjoyed, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I usually make videos every Monday and Saturday. That's what I'm trying to get back to eventually as I try to normalize my schedule again, and until then, I'll see you guys soon. Peace out. Bye.